So hi everyone, today I'm going to make use of the metaverse platform to try and simulate how a building design will actually look from the user perspective. Now, the platform that I'm going to use is XR. As you can see, this is a public housing in Hong Kong, and I've redesigned the web market for it so I can just run through it to see if the space actually looks nice. I think it's very useful for architects to test their design before they actually build it. So the platform is called XR. It's a really good metaverse platform where multiple designers can work on the same scene. So you'll be able to see what each other has done in real time. So the first thing you want to do is after you've opened and registered your account, you press your icon and you go to My Projects. Now, if you add a new project and you enter your collaborator's email in here, then you will all be able to work in the same project space. But today I'm just going to use one of my existing scenes, this one. So this is a lot like any game engine that you would find, but it's a lot more simple and easy to use. I've been teaching non-architects this software and they were able to do it. So if they can do it, I'm sure architects can do it. On the left-hand side is all of your assets in the scene, and on the right-hand side is how you can control your assets. So if you press on your scene, then you will be able to share a URL of the navigation space. And then you can all run in it together and maybe have a meeting and stuff like that. You can control your skybox, you can optimize your scene. If you add visual effects, sometimes I add a bloom and the scene looks a lot more pretty. But when I design, I tend to turn it off. The platform developer has very, very kindly made us a very special feature, which is to export your scene as one object in a GLB format. Or you can just export all of the files separately by pressing export scene. Now, what I wanted to do is basically to add my design, which I've done in Rhino, into the scene, so then players can run through it and let me know their feedback. Now, very, very easily, the navigation in the scene, it's not like in other 3D software, because this is more like a game engine. So on your keyboard, you can press WASD to actually navigate to the place you want, and then Q and E to go up and down. Now, sometimes it will take a long time to actually go to something. So I always put a player as an anchor point, and also I get a better sense of scale of how big my facilities are. I can select the player and I press F, and I'll always be able to go back to this guy here. Sometimes I also put a directional light right here. So if I'm lost in a model, I can always go back to this anchor point as well. Now, if I want to import my design, the first thing I want to do is press plus, add objects, and then press model. Now the model is not yet in my database, so I have to press add assets, add model, select the file that I want it to insert, just wait for it to load. Now this one is 1.5 megabyte. Imagine your scene is real time because multiple players are in it. It means that it has to update itself 60 times per second. So 1.4 megabyte will become quite a lot of data if you don't have a internet connection. So I suggest that each model should be less than 1 megabyte if you want to have multiple objects in the scene. So I just press insert. Now normally it's quite smooth, so I wouldn't worry too much. Now the object is very, very close to the camera because that's just how it would be. So I go to position on the right hand side and I do 0, 0, 0. So actually anchor it on. Now if I want to toggle it, I can just drag. Yeah, but if I want to rotate it, I will go to the upper left corner. And then the rotation toggle is here. Now I can do whatever I want with it. It can also scale and stuff. So right now I'm just going to move it here and maybe just rotate it a little bit. Yep, it's not precise enough, then I'll just use the right-hand side panel. Now maybe I want to make it a little bit bigger because it's quite small now that I see it. So I go to scale, maybe do 3. Yep, maybe a little bit wider as well. Look nice because I just want to make use of the existing bridge as a platform. So that now I have my design in place, I can just press play. And I'll be able to simulate how it actually looks. Cool, not bad. Now maybe I can also just, oh, there's someone else in the scene. Half in the floor. Maybe I want it to also see how the structure looks on the second level, so I'll just run to it. Oh, now you see that I actually run through the structure. It is because the game engine hasn't recognized this as a physical object, so I have to go back to select my object and go to right-hand side modification, add rigid body. And then it should do the trick. So I go back and I refresh the scene. So, when architects model their design, they tend to be very detailed. They have double surfaces to make sure that the space looks legit and real. But actually, in virtual reality, this will make them, now you see, it has physical properties. I can't walk through it. Yeah, but actually the trick is that every surface is an extra data point. And if your model has too many surfaces or vertex or texture details, then it will probably make the scene very heavy. So it's best to actually be not detailed as you can, especially when game engines usually use mesh, which means instead of NURBS, which means that every column, if it's circular, then it's a lot of triangles and a lot of vertex data. So you might want to also decimate it. So on the bottom right corner, you can see that now it's using a lot of GPU and memory. Then you can always assess how good your scene is and how optimized it is. Yeah, so I hope this tutorial is useful and we can continue to support great metaverse platforms like this one.